Super Bowl 60 is in the books. I'll be very honest with you. Yes, it was the Super Bowl. That was nasty football. But let me say this. Defensively, I'm talking about Seattle's defense and what Mike McDonald did. Now that was a class, I want to say a PhD level, doctoral level class on coaching the defensive side of the football. Overall, that was some nasty football, y'all. Very ugly and nasty. 3 quarters of football with no touchdown. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Carolina and Duke. Is that the biggest rivalry in sports? And then we got to talk about the NBA. The Charlotte Hornets still have not lost. It's 9 in a row. On this episode of the Coach Sherry Show.
It's like the song snitching, forgetting the past. I'm looking past that.
Super Bowl 60 is in the books, y'all. It's in the books. Seattle Seahawks 29, the New England Patriots 13, and I'm talking about a very nasty game of football. Coming into the game, I figured Seattle would win. I thought Seattle would win. And I thought Seattle would win because I thought overall they were the better team. Defensively, off the charts. And defensively off the charts. And I felt like that offensively, New England would have some struggles. Because New England, to be honest with you, I mean, from an offensive standpoint, they haven't been lighting up the world. So I didn't. You have an offense that's already been somewhat struggling, playing the top defense in the NFL. That's not a good. No, that's not what you want. But I was asking this question before the Super Bowl. Where was the hype around the Super Bowl? It didn't feel as hyped up this year. Now, let me know if you felt something different. But I'm talking about the days, even the week leading up to the Super Bowl. I didn't feel. Normally, when they're 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. Now, that first week, nobody's thinking about it. Nobody's thinking. You're watching college basketball. You're watching the NBA. You're watching something else. But the week of the Super Bowl is matchups and who has a legacy on the line and Hall of Fame and if they win this and if they don't win it and who finally got over the hump. And there was none of that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if there was a superstar in this game. Now, Jackson Smith-Njigba had an outstanding season. Offensive Player of the Year. Outstanding season. I don't know if Jackson Smith-Njigba is a superstar. Where was the superstar in the Super Bowl? I think this Super Bowl was lacking star power. Great stories. Sam Darnold, the redemption story, the former number 1 pick who was on his 5th team. Didn't work out with the Jets, and it didn't work out with the Panthers, and it didn't work out with the 49ers. It didn't work out with the Vikings, but I don't know what that was about. The Vikings were tripping on that one. They let that man go because of 2 games. Sam Darnold led them to a 13-4, 14-3 record to the postseason, and they let that man go because he lost the last regular season game, which was for the division title. Didn't play well. And then he lost the wild card round in the playoffs. Didn't play well. So I'm thinking he played 18 games for the Vikings. The other 16 games, oh, look at Sam Darnold. You let him go because of 2 games? No. That was so it didn't work out with the Vikings. And now he's in Seattle. But so that's a good storyline. But Sam Darnold's not a superstar. Drake May, good storyline. 2nd-year quarterback, up and coming, becoming one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Not a superstar. Who are the running backs for both teams? Kenneth Walker III, relatively unknown, unless you're a Seahawks fan or unless you follow the NFC West. But if you're just an NFL fan, you probably don't really know who Kenneth Walker III is, or you haven't followed him. Travion Henderson, Ramon Stevenson for the Patriots. Now, I mean, those aren't household names. Who are the top receivers? Well, I said Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I don't consider Jackson Smith and Jigba. When I think about superstars, and I'm thinking about the teams in the NFL, he's not a Jamar Chase. I didn't say he wasn't as good as Jamar Chase. I'm talking about household name. Jackson Smith and Jigba is not Justin Jefferson. See, though he's not A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. Those are household. Even a George Pickens, I would say, is probably bigger than. Who else we got? C.D. Lamb. Those are big namers. Jackson Smith and Jigba is looking like he's just as good, maybe if not better than some of them. But he didn't have the star power they have. This Super Bowl lacked star power. It lacked it. And then on top of that, it became an ugly game. Kenneth Walker III got the MVP. He had a touchdown. They holding penalty called it back. But he had 135 rushing yards. Kenneth Walker III balled out. I wish he could have got that touchdown. But at halftime, the score is 9. You could have gave it to the kicker. He could have got the MVP. Why not? Jason Myers could have easily got the MVP. Jason Myers had what? 5 field goals. It's 9-0 at the half, y'all. Now, unless you're one of those football purists, you don't want to see a game of just field goals. Nasty. At the end of the third, it's 12-0. Ugh. It's very nasty. I'm happy for Sam Darnold, though. I am. I'm really happy for Sam Darnold. I'm happy that Sam Darnold did not have a bust career. I'm happy that Sam Darnold can now say he met the expectations of a number 1 pick. If your number 1 pick leads you to a Super Bowl championship, yeah, expectation. Check that box. I said go ahead and check that box. Drake May. Here's the thing about sports. Sometimes this applies to life too. Sometimes you don't get a second chance. That's just the way it is. Sometimes you don't get a second chance. We all hope for second chances. Drake may not get back to the Super Bowl. Okay. All right. I know he's got listen. That's not saying he's not going to have a very good career. I said he may not get back to a Super Bowl. I saw Dan Marino do the same thing. What'd you see Dan Marino do, Coach Cherry? I saw Dan Marino get to the Super Bowl his second year. And he lost in the Super Bowl. And some people said, man, he's going to get to plenty more. He's only in his second year. He's an up-and-coming quarterback. He's going to be an Dan Marino is still trying to get back to the Super Bowl. He hasn't been back since his second year in the NFL. So just because you go early in your career doesn't mean you're going back. Drake May is in the same conference with Patrick Mahomes, right? Okay, I'm just checking. He is in the same conference with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, right? Okay, I'm just checking. He is in the same conference with Bo Nix, who Bo Nix had the number 1 seed. He just got hurt. If Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, Drake May not have seen the Super Bowl this year. So Justin Herbert is in the AFC. Joe Burrow is in the. There's a chance Drake may not get back. Y'all, everybody's not gonna get a championship. I'm just being real with you. And CJ Stroud isn't gonna play like this every year. Everyone is not going to get a championship. It's just not enough to go around. You got all those, and I don't think any of those quarterbacks that I named, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, none of those guys are in their 30s. Mahomes, somebody may have just turned 30, but none of them are in their 30s. So all of them have a lot of football left to play. A lot of football left. When you have that, and it's not Drake May's fault that they lost. Because look, you can say when you have that window of opportunity, you have to seize the moment. And I do agree with that. You do have to seize the moment. But that was a tall task, asking Drake May to beat Seattle. That's a tall task. The defense was too good for Seattle. Drake May doesn't have, I don't think Drake May has the weapons to beat Seattle. Like Stephon Diggs is good, but he doesn't take the top off the defense. Mac Hollins he's a solid receiver. Hunter Henry is a really good tight end, but he's not going to stretch the field or anything like that. I just don't think Drake May had the weapons. So this was not Drake May's fault at all. And then he's young, not his fault at all. But overall, the Super Bowl was the Super Bowl that people wanted to see was Buffalo and Los Angeles. That's what everybody wanted. People wanted to see Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford. That's what the people wanted to see. So Super Bowl 60 is in the books. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I would love to hear what people think about Super Bowl 60. Did you really enjoy the game? Or was it just, it was okay. I tell you what, listen, I'm going to tell you what was bigger than the Super Bowl. Duke and North Carolina.
Into Dixon. Boozer switches on to him. Dixon the kick. Trimble! Got it! And Carolina wins it!
Yeah, I said it. You're talking about Duke, North Carolina, Saturday evening. The college basketball, Duke, North Carolina. And, gosh, you talk about rivalries. And they asked the question, is Duke, North Carolina, is that the biggest rivalry in sports? If we're talking college sports, North Carolina and NC State used to be a really big rivalry. It didn't feel that big anymore. Especially when the late, great Jim Valvano was coaching. Really big rivalry against the late, great Dean Smith. But it's still a rivalry, but it doesn't feel, and maybe because NC State's not as good as they used to be. But Will Wade, I think, may bring them back. But Duke, Carolina, college sports. I'm thinking college sports. College basketball, it is hands down. I don't know another college basketball rivalry that is even close to Duke, North Carolina. I'm talking about college basketball. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think of rivalries in college basketball other than Duke and North Carolina. You look at the Big Ten. I mean, I'm sure Michigan, Ohio State, I'm sure those are, it doesn't feel that. SEC, you probably got a Florida, Tennessee, something, Kentucky, LSU. Nothing's even close. Maybe some of those in-state rivalries, Arizona State. Nah. So if we're talking just college basketball, Duke and North Carolina, hands down. Now, let's look at college sports overall, because now you got to include college football. Michigan and the Ohio State University. That's huge. Is Michigan and the Ohio State University bigger than Carolina Duke basketball? I don't think so. I think Carolina Duke basketball is big. Somebody mentioned Alabama Auburn college football. No, stop that. Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's a big rivalry. It's an in-state, but stop it. That doesn't top Carolina Duke basketball. No, it doesn't. And then when you look at the game yesterday, both teams have a top 5 draft pick. Carolina has Caleb Wilson. Duke has Cam Boozer. And they went at it. Look at the numbers. Cam Boozer, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Caleb Wilson, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Caleb Wilson, 1 of 2 from 3. Cam Boozer, 2 of 4 from 3. Caleb Wilson was more efficient. Cam Boozer is 10 of 21, was 10 of 21 from the field. Caleb Wilson was 8 of 12. He scored the same number as Cam Boozer on 9 less shots. Wow, that's huge. I thought, comparing those two, I thought Caleb Wilson looked better. Cam Boozer still had a good game. I know he shot, you say he shot under 50% from the field. I know. But Cam still looked good. Caleb Wilson looked better. Caleb Wilson is taller. Caleb Wilson is more explosive. Caleb Wilson looks like he has more upside. Caleb Wilson also has the wow factor. Cam Boozer doesn't have that. Cam just puts his hard hat on, goes about his business, and he's very productive. Now, Cam Boozer may be the most productive player in college basketball. From a production standpoint, Cam Boozer. But if I'm an NBA team, I have a decision to make. Now, when I look at these freshmen, because this NBA draft is dominated by freshmen. Some say it's the best freshman class we've seen ever. Last year's was good. But Cam, for me, Caleb Wilson played his way into my top 2. Right now, if we're just talking about best available. Now, teams are probably going to look at what they need and who feels the need and what are we looking for in it. I got it. But if I'm making a list of the best available players, I got A.J. DeBonsa, number 1. And right now, number 2, gosh, I'm not big on Darren Peterson. I'm not. I'm talking about at the NBA level. And when I watch Peterson, and maybe they said this about Tracy McGrady when he played, it looks so effortless. It looks like he's not playing hard. Maybe that's what it is about Darren Peterson. But when I watch Peterson, he just doesn't do it for me. And I'm not even saying he's not good. I'm not saying he shouldn't be the top pick. I'm not saying he should be a top 2 or 3 pick. What I am saying is if I have the top 2 picks, A.J. DeBonsa, Caleb Wilson. And then now at number 3, I'm deciding between Peterson and Boozer. I don't know. Best available. I may go Peterson, then Boozer. There was a stretch in the first half where Carolina was struggling. They were struggling. And I thought at one point Duke was about to run them out the gym. And Caleb Wilson just took over. If Caleb Wilson, he hit a 3-pointer too. If Caleb Wilson doesn't have that stretch where he just takes over the game, I think Duke gets it to a lead where Carolina can't recover. It's one thing, a couple things here. Number one, Caleb Wilson had the mindset as a teenage freshman to get the ball on that big stage and say, I am taking over this game. I don't care who's guarding me. I don't care who's guarding me. It didn't matter if it was Patrick Ndongba. It didn't matter if it was Cam Boozer. It didn't matter if it was Dane Sarr. I don't care who's guarding me. Give me the ball and get out of my way. So number one, he had the mindset at that young age to take, because Seth Trimble's a senior. Like, you got older guys on that team. Henry Visser played in Arizona last year. Like, these guys have more experience than Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson said, okay, that's fine. Give me the ball and get out of my way. So it's one thing to have the mindset, but then number two, you got to have the ability to back it up. He has the ability. Caleb Wilson, these weren't wide open shots he was making. These were like post up. The defender doesn't leave his feet. He stays there. And he's shooting turnaround jumpers, hands in his face. Shot fake, step through. Like, these are tough shots he's making. Then in the second half, they started going to Henry Visser a lot more. And he started imposing his will. And Caleb Wilson kept them hanging around. And then other guys started contributing. Seth Trimble, Henry Visser. I thought that Derek Dixon played well. The game-winning shot. The ball is in Dixon's hands. That's a lot of trust by Coach Hubert Davis, who, by the way, is talking of Hubert Davis. Why did it feel like this Carolina team was flying under the radar? It felt like nobody was talking about it. And they were 18-4 before this game. 18. They had a stretch where they lost 3 out of 4 games. And they just went completely off of people's radar. 18-4 is really good, y'all. I mean, obviously they're 19-4 now. 18-4 is good. 7-3 in the conference. But for some reason, and they have a top 5 draft pick in Caleb Wilson. They just seem to be flying under the radar. Hubert looks like this is his team now. It looks like this, the roster makeup, it looks like these are the guys that Hubert Davis wants. This is Hubert Davis' team. Recruiting wise, transfer portal, Caleb Wilson obviously out of high school. It looks like, okay, these, and see, when you get the guys that you want to coach, not because there was some leftover, and obviously we know how great Roy Williams was, but there were some leftover players from that era. But now all of these guys have been handpicked by Hubert. So they fit, or they should fit, his coaching style and personality. Now you're seeing Hubert Davis. Now you're seeing 19-4. And I expect this Carolina team to at least make a Sweet 16 run in the NCAA tournament. They may go further, but at least a Sweet 16 run. The ball is in Derek Dixon's hands. He penetrates and finds Seth Trimble on the opposite side of the floor. That's big time, y'all. Anytime you can find an open teammate on the opposite side of the floor, that's big time. Trimble makes the game-winning 3-pointer. Boom. This adds to the rivalry. This adds to the rivalry on Tobacco Road. Is it the best in sports? It's the best college basketball rivalry. I think it's bigger than any college football rivalry. So I think it's the biggest collegiate rivalry. Professional sports, I don't think does the NBA still have rivalries? I don't think the NBA has any rivals. There are no rivalries in the NBA. Who? Lakers, Celtics? That's not a rivalry anymore. That's not Magic and Bird, and that's not Kobe and Shaq. That's not Kobe going against Garnett and Pierce. No, that's not Wilt Chamberlain going against Bill Russell. No, that's not what that is anymore. Nope. Lakers and Celtics is no longer a rivalry. There are no NFL rivalries. Used to be Washington and Dallas. That was a big one. Pittsburgh and Baltimore is a little. But the question is it bigger than Duke, Carolina? No. Baseball, Red Sox, Yankees. I don't know. I'm just throwing rivalries out there. Hockey, I don't know. I think Duke, Carolina is still. I think it comes down to Duke, Carolina, Michigan, Ohio State, and football. Those two rivalries seem like the only two that still have that same level of intensity. But I think it's Duke, North Carolina. Now, we said there are no rivalries in the NBA. But I do know what is happening in the NBA. These Charlotte Hornets ain't playing around. You talking about the Charlotte Hornets? They're not playing around. The winning streak is now 9 in a row. 9 in a row. 15-1. Now, I heard some people talking the other day about Charlotte, and they're saying somebody on Twitter, on X, tweeted me and said, "Ha! They win a couple. Hornets fans are sad. They win a couple games in a row, and Hornets fans are happy." A couple games. 9 games is a couple games? Wow. It's the longest winning streak in the NBA. They're 9-1 their last 10 games. And although the Hornets are 25-28, here's the thing. That starting lineup of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, Miles Bridges, Musa Diabate, the Moose is loose. That's 15-1. Y'all, somebody didn't hear what I said. That's okay. I'll say it again. No, I'm going to say it again. I said LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, Miles Bridges, the Moose is loose, Musa Diabate. They are 15. Has that sunk in on y'all? They're 15-1. That lineup is almost undefeated in the NBA. They're 25-28 overall. The only reason that is the case is because they haven't been healthy from day one. For those that are not Hornets fans, you better be glad this team was not healthy from day one. You better be glad LaMelo Ball was hurt and missed time at the beginning of the season. And you better be glad Brandon Miller was hurt and missed time. Had this lineup been healthy all season, I would say, let's see, they're 25-28. That's 53 games. If this lineup were healthy all season, 53 games, I'm going to say their record, if they have 25 wins, now I'm going to bump that up. I would say they're probably about, what would I say, 53 games? I would say 32-21. They're somewhere around 32-21. That would put them 5th in the East. Yeah, that's about right. I get about 7 more wins if they had been healthy all season. And y'all, they're beating teams. They just beat Houston the other night. At Houston. They beat OKC. They beat San Antonio. They beat the Lakers. They beat all the top teams. Look at the top teams in the West. OKC's number 1 in the West. They beat them. Spurs number 2 in the West. Beat them. Nuggets number 4 in the West. They've beaten them. Lakers 5. They've beaten the top 5 teams in the West. People keep saying the West is the best conference. The Hornets say, who are your top 5? We'll beat all of them. Check up. Check up. And after they beat them, they're saying, you better be glad we weren't healthy from day one, or this thing might really get ugly. I think when I look at the overall season, right now they're in 10th. So if the season were to end today, they'd be in the play-in. They'd be in the play-in. They would be in the play-in. They're half a game behind Atlanta. They're 2.5 games behind Miami in the 8th spot. I think they definitely pass Atlanta and get to the 9 spot. Got to get that. See, with the play-in, here's the play-in format. 7 and 8 play each other. Right now, that's Orlando and Miami. The winner of that is in the playoffs. Because see, remember now, the top six are automatically in. They don't do anything. They're in. Top 6 seeds, boom, you're in the playoffs. 7 through 10. 7 and 8 play. The winner of that, boom, you got the 7 spot now. So now it's 1 spot left. The winner of 7-8 grabs the 7 spot. Now the loser of 7 and 8 plays the winner of 9 and 10. So right now that would be Atlanta and Charlotte. Atlanta is 9, so that game will be played in Atlanta. That's why I'm saying Charlotte at least wants to get to the 9th spot, so that play-in game would be in Charlotte. The loser of 7 and 8 plays the winner of 9 and 10 for the final playoff spot. So right now, the loser of Orlando and Miami would play the winner of Atlanta and Charlotte for the final spot. Now, Charlotte can beat all 3 of those teams. Atlanta, Miami, Orlando, they can beat any one of those teams. I'm not concerned about them playing either. The only teams in the East that would concern me for Charlotte is the Knicks, the Celtics. I don't know how Cleveland's going to look now. They got James Harden in. I have to see how they look with James Harden. By the time you see this podcast, the Hornets will probably be playing the Detroit Pistons, or will have played Detroit. They play them next. That's a big matchup. Let's see how they do against the number 1 seed in the East. And I still don't know how Detroit is 38-13 with 1 superstar, with Cade Cunningham. You can't name their starting five in Detroit. You don't know who their starting five. This is the number one team in the East. They're 38-13, and you can't tell me who their starting five is. Cade Cunningham, I may give the MVP to Cade Cunningham because I don't know how he's doing. Cade Cunningham is in my MVP discussion. Jaylen Brown is in my MVP discussion because I don't know how Boston's tied for second place in the East. And Tatum is out. Porzingis is gone. Al Horford is gone. Jrue Holiday is gone. I don't know how Jaylen Brown and Joe Mazzulla have Boston number 2. But the Hornets are still surging. They brought in Kobe White. I didn't want to see Colin Sexton leave. Why not, Coach Cherry? Well, I just told you they won 9 in a row. At the time, they had won 7 in a row. And they were 13-1 with that starting 5. And I'm thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They wanted to, I think Kobe White is a slight upgrade. Slight. Because they're both scoring guards, Sexton and Kobe White. Sexton has the better shooting numbers. Like, Sexton is shooting like 49% from the field. Kobe White shooting about 44%. But they can both average 19, 20 points. Yeah, so scoring-wise, Colin Sexton shooting about 39%, right at 40% from 3. Kobe White shooting 34, 35%. Now, Kobe White does strike me as the more dynamic scorer. Like, he can score in bunches more than Colin Sexton. See, Colin can give you 20, and it'll be a steady 20 spread throughout the game. Kobe White might give you 20. He may have 12 in one quarter. Like, wow, he is. Do you see him hit 3 threes in a row and had a dunk? He may have a stretch like that. So Kobe White is the more explosive, boom, 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 the wow scorer. But I hope it doesn't throw off the chemistry. Don't throw off the chemistry now. Kobe White's going to have to come off the bench. He's been starting in Chicago. He's going to have to come off the bench. I hope he's okay with that. Because if my starting lineup is 15-1, I can't switch my starting lineup now. I can't do that. Because they're 15-1 and we won 9 straight. Now, the last 2 wins, Sexton is gone to Chicago. Kobe White is in Charlotte, but he hasn't played. So they've won the last 2 without Kobe White or Colin Sexton. Yeah, the Hornets, they are really good right now. This is the Charlotte Hornets team everybody wanted to see. And what Hornets fans, what we're hoping for. We just want some postseason play, y'all. I want Charlotte to grab that 9 seed. I mean, look, it's plenty of time to pass Miami. But they're 2.5 games behind Miami. I don't know if they can. 2.5 games doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be a lot. I don't know if they catch Miami. I don't know. I don't know if they catch Miami. But if anything, grab the 9 spot, host that first play-in game, win it. Host it and win it. That Spectrum Center would be buzzing, pun intended. And then at least get to that second play-in game where if the Hornets win, they're in a playoff series. I think I'm getting greedy. I want them to get to the playoff series. And the way that they're playing right now, you ask any coach or any NBA team, you don't want to play the Charlotte Hornets right now. No, you don't. Who? The Charlotte Hornets? That's not who you want to play right now. No, it's not. Getting ready for All-Star Weekend. And I saw something, the 3-point contest. Look at this 3-point contest. Damian Lillard hadn't played all season because of the Achilles injury. But he's going to participate in the 3-point shootout. And here's what I like about the 3-point shootout. The big names are back. The big names are back. So when we talk about the 3-point shootout, here we go. All-Star Weekend, February 14th. The slam dunk contest, all that good stuff. Look at the 3-point shootout. Con Knipple is in it. Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Tyrese Maxey, Devin Booker, Damian Lillard. I got to give a round of applause to you guys. This is what we've been wanting from All-Star Weekend. We got names. These guys ain't afraid to get embarrassed because somebody could go out there and stink it up. But it looks like these guys are saying, so I'm going to be in the three-point shootout. Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Tyrese Maxey, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Con Knipple. Good job, guys. Good job. I'm excited about that. Well, football season's over. Indiana's the national champs in college football. Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl champions in the NFL. Now the attention shifts to basketball, college and pro. Check in every week. Right here at the Coach Cherry Show. New episode drops every single week. Don't miss it. Thank you so much for tuning in again to this episode of the Coach Cherry Show. And until next time, signing off, this is Coach Cherry. God bless you.
Gotta keep going. If I stop, what would that be? Come on. Coach, why you tripping? What they'd ask me. So I moved to the front, not the back seat. Run my own race, you won't catch me.